Today we have a very esteemed guest from the world of football. She has a long career in football as a player, as a coach. Now she is in football administration. And she is one of the few women enterprising football administration in the world of football. Her name is Julia Farr. She is the Asia head of Borussia Dortmund. Julia, welcome to our show all about football. And what about your feeling when you had first entered in the football arena?
I always love to enter any football arena because football is absolutely my passion. I love it. I love the game. I love everything about it. And yeah, so I feel always amazing.
Just to talk about you as a player, you started a career, then you have a coach, then in Dortmund you have also youth development process, and you also in Dortmund administrations. What you felt the difference between as a player, as a coach, and also administrator when you joined from transforming the player to coach and coach to administration? These three phases of life, how you dealt with it?
I would say you can't really compare it. Everything together gives you the bigger picture of the game itself. So I still love to play. I still do play myself. It's you express yourself in the game. You're yourself. You have your own challenges to deal with. Keep the fitness, adhere to the coaches, understand the tactics of the game, find your own way of playing and yourself on the pitch. Who are you? When you jump into the role of a coach, it's completely different. You learn to express yourself in a completely different way because you are leading a team. The players look up to you. They want to hear something from you. You have to motivate them. There are so many aspects to the game which you learn as a coach, which you haven't learned as a player. So you see the game from a completely different perspective. But it helped me so much to be more self-conscious and to also understand what motivates players. Like, how do you catch them? How do you lift them up and bring them to the next level, each individual and also the whole team? How do you form a team? That was something I really, really learned as a coach, and this is something I could transport then or transfer into my football administration role and my management role now. Now I'm also leading a team, but in a completely different capacity. I'm looking at the game in a completely different view again, because you are managing something. You are developing not just players, you are developing a whole club. You are developing countries. I try to do the best I can to develop the Indian football development system, for example, now. And that's something that inspires me and myself every day when I come and learn about different cultures and how they see football. So even I learn every day, because in every country it's different and you learn something new.
Yeah, Julia, what you're talking about your wonderful starting career as a player, coach, and administrator in the same club. It's a very rare component to the scene in the world of football. What I like to ask you about when you come to from Germany to Asia, look after the Asian market, Asian development process, and do you feel being an administrator on the football administration of football, world of football business, we'll talk about this as a player, as a coach, this will help you a lot to understand the concept of the football world, football business, and football communication?
Definitely. Like I just said, I think every country sees football a little different. You can see football is actually one language. You don't need to talk, but you can play with whoever on the world. Everyone is human. Football is always the same game. It's always the same rules. You don't really have to be able to speak the same language, but because football is your language, everybody is the same there. But of course, you learn the game and understand the game in a different way wherever you go. So like I said, I learn every day something new about the game because everyone has different passion for it or a different understanding, and that's very interesting for me. And I try to take this back and to kind of improve myself and find the best way to express it in the way I can.
It's very interesting. You're talking about you synergize with your playing experience, your coaching experience, to your administrative experience. Now, talk about the women's football as a whole, and of course, you're not only responsible as a football. It meant women, men's, boys, kids. That's a different story. But when you have when you come to India first time, and you felt that what your inner just says about how to develop Indian football through you have an experience of both the side as a player, the coach, and also the administration. And India needs both the occasions to. We need a good coach, good playing condition, and also good administration. So we have the experience of both. What you felt, your experience, how you can, what your objective to how to contribute in Indian football, because you are very passionate about India. And you have been to Asia for the last 7-8 years, so you know about how Asia grows and India's importance as a socio-economic and also social structure. When you talk about especially women football, which is a talk about, it is a kind of empowering women lifestyle or livelihood, what I can talk about, a really empowering women power. Football is one of the tools to empowering the whole scenario of women's participation in society. What do you think about, what is your inner urge where felt, how you contribute, how want to contribute to develop Indian football in totality?
I mean, first of all, you mentioned it. My actual role is not just developing girls football or representing women empowerment. I'm heading the Asia Pacific region for Borussia Dortmund, not just the women's department, the whole club. But I made it to my personal mission to show the world that a woman can do that, because I'm currently the first and only woman for a European football club in that position. And I'm kind of proud of it, I have to say. But when I came here and saw the girls playing football, you could tell there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of talent, but they are still very hesitant about themselves. So you could tell they feel they are in the shadows of the guys, and they don't have to. So when I came here, and all the times I'm coming here in the future, I want to encourage every girl out there that there is a pathway for them and that they are equally good as the boys and they can succeed in an equally way like them. It doesn't matter whether you are a girl or a boy. You play football, you can achieve something. And I think that's something I want to kind of try to inspire and to show them that it is possible, and it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, you can do it.
Julia, what about you have often come to India, and you have a mission for develop the Indian girls football, especially of course the other football too, and where you have a workshop with the Indian girls, Indian women's team in Pune. You have spent 2-3 days with the coaches and also very aspirant football players too. What was your impression about those girls, about their mental toughness, their ability, agility, and their vision and their aspirations? Can you brief me about your personal experience with them?
Sure. Well, I really enjoyed those days. I have to say they were special to me, and they will always be in my memory. You can see I'm wearing this here. This was from one of the girls, a present she gave me on the last day, and it has really meaning to me. I really kind of like grew together with them in those days. We glued together. It was whenever we had a workshop in the classroom or on the pitch, the training sessions, you could tell they were hanging on my lips. They were following everything that I was like trying to teach them, or the advices I was giving them. So you could tell they were very reactive to it. So they had a very fast learning process, and that was something that made me smile, because you see, you try something new to them and they were immediately reactive to it and wanted to show that they can do it this way. On the other hand, you could tell they loved it. They were smiling. All of them were smiling. And this is something that's very emotional to me, because I see they enjoy what they did. And I think that's the most important thing in football. When you want to play, when you want to succeed, you can never ever lose the love for the game. If you see football as something you must do, you will never succeed. But if you love the game, if you enjoy what you do every day, you will succeed. And when I looked at their abilities and how they were playing on the pitch, you could tell they had a very strong physicality. They were mentally strong on the pitch. So whenever they stepped on the pitch, the game started. They were fighting for each other. And that's a very good mentality, because that's a very good basis. The skills can still improve and develop. I think they have to be a bit more self-confident also on the pitch, but that's something the coaches can work on, and the girls can work on. And the skills are there. And I see a very bright future to them. So I would love to get back to them and continue the process with them and see how they have developed ever since I was there.
Julia, you have said the agility of the self-confidence and of the coaches. So how you also interacted a lot of coaches and administration. This is the development process can be done with the two process. We need you off the field and off the field and on the field. So what you felt, because you have both the experience in your life as a career, we play as a player, the coach, and administrations, which is very important to have developed. What you found, what needs to be synergized between administration and Indian football, especially girls football, to need to incorporate in the training programs and in a basics level?
I think it's not rocket science, so we are not inventing something. It's the same sports. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you're a girl or a boy, you play the same sports. But obviously, of course, there are differences, physical differences between men and women. That's not rocket science either. So women are prone for certain injuries, so ACL, knee injuries. They have like wider hips. It's just something coaches and administrators have to keep in mind and have to monitor. So girls might need to work a bit more on stability and certain muscle building around the knees a little more than the guys do. Plus, I think it's also kind of like a small taboo topic, but we talked about this during the workshops as well. It's also common sense that women have their period once a month, so this is also something the coaches have to monitor and keep into the bigger picture when they set up the training schedules, the training plans for the girls, monitor their performances, that there are different influences that maybe the male side have. But at the end of the day, it's the same game. You just have to modify it a bit. And otherwise, like I said, most importantly, enjoying the game.
Julia, you talk about the very basics to develop Indian girls football too. Now you have seen the Asian quite a long time. The Asian girls football. You have taken one of the Singaporean girl to play for Dortmund in girls in a Bundesliga Girls League, and she's playing very well. So, do you find another Danelle Tan in India? And during your little acquainted with the Indian girls football, and also you have followed also Indian girls football. So what is your call on that? Indian girls can also play in European circuit too, because Indian girls' position in the FIFA ranking is higher than the men's.
I definitely do believe that. And I'm very sure that if we continue what we have started now, together with all the parties involved that are interested to support this process that we started, to support the girls' empowerment and women's football here in India, that we will find the next Danelle Tan, for example. Like I said, I've seen the talent out there. You mentioned it yourself. The Indian national team is ranked number 50, which is 15 onwards, which is 50, yeah, which is really good. And I really do believe that we can find a girl that can play in the European clubs and leagues.
Julia, at the end, I want to ask you a little bit optimistic way. You have been to Pune, Maharashtra, and allied areas, but do you have any idea what is your mission and vision for develop women's football in India across the country? You can want to such idea to talent scout for the best girl across India to make your competence, because you have a unique exposure of play as a player, as a coach, and administration, to get your all experienced to develop Indian football, to scouts, and also for the program for the coaches programs, and built a proper mental infrastructure and also physical infrastructure to build the game at its best.
Yeah, I think first of all, we will be trying to bring a bit of like structure in the whole system that we have here. I mean, there are already a lot of good projects going on, and good initiatives, but I think it needs to be a little more structured. That's something we can definitely work on. And secondly, I want to inspire the girls to step up, to step forward, to be confident, to show, hey, I'm playing football. I'm a girl, but I play football. I can do it. And thirdly, I want to kind of showcase that there are opportunities for girls in these sports, not just in football, in sports industry in general, that there are opportunities on the pitch as a player, off the pitch as a coach, for example, or even as an administrator. There are opportunities, options there. And yeah, I think I am an example for this a little bit.
Yeah, thank you, Julia, for your wonderful insight of how the girls' football to develop their on the pick and also talk about their mentality. You stressed upon the mentality is more important, and also look on their skills and with your mental toughness. And you believe Indian girls also, Indian women football can also compete to the European circuit too. Thank you, Julia, for a wonderful insight. We just talk about the development of Indian football for the girls sector. The women's Indian football is really doing a new level last few years, and the excitement of women's football in the world is also very high. We have witnessed also in the last Women's World Cup in Australia, which is tremendous viewership. We also witnessed a few years before in the Wembley Stadium, where the Euro Cup between England and Germany. It's a world record crowd attendance in the Wembley Stadium, surpassing the men's presence. So we are very optimistic about our Indian women's football to reach its pinnacle. People like Julia Farr, who has tried to dedicate his whole experience, being a player, being an administrator, being a coach also, whole experience of his connect to the Europe, definitely Indian football to reach its pinnacle. Thank you.